All right, the United States and China clash again at the United Nations, this time about the emission claims. And this is your favorite half Chinese. Yeah, let's just look at what he has to say.
I want to focus my remarks on a permanent member of this council, which alone is responsible for more than 26% of global greenhouse gas.
So yeah, China is only the biggest polluter if you cannot divide. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. Before we go any further, please smash that like button right now, share and follow. Thank you. But first, tell me if, now he's going to speak Chinese, would you like me to explain what he says in English? Because a lot of people I've seen are watching my channel on their mobile, and then this is hard to read the subtitles, or do you want me to just place subtitles translating it directly into English under right here? Just let me know in the comment section, right? So let's see what China had to say. Its total greenhouse gas emission in history take up the first place in the world.
气体排放
What they first say.
世界第一，是全球累计温室气体排放最多的国家。它的人均碳排放量一直处于世界的最高水平。
And its per capita emission is always number one in the world.
这个安理会的常任理事国大开历史倒车。
This permanent member of the Security Council has taken a major step backward in history by withdrawing twice from the Paris Agreement. I like it how they're using their words against them, like this permanent member, right?
2度退出巴黎协定，严重破坏
severely undermining global climate governance effort. All right. So what he's basically saying is that, yes, blaming China is like blaming that two people fart louder than just one. We have to understand that China is like 4 or 5 times bigger than the United States. So it's very unfair to blame China, say, oh yeah, you pollute more. Yeah, duh, they have 4 to 5 times more people than the United States. So you have to look at it per capita. My country does the same. We only have 18 million. Shanghai or Chongqing is, I believe, already 30 million people, right? So let us look at the per capita greenhouse gas emissions. And what we are seeing here, this was in 1850 on the left side. And we see Canada, United States are the biggest polluters in the world. And again, Canada is here also actually polluting more than the United States. United States is at 17.2, right? My country, the Netherlands, is at 8.5 right now. And China is at 9.8, right? So China is, when we look at the legenda, is right here, right? While the United States, these are the countries which are actually the biggest polluters per capita. But nobody's talking about them. Do we see what's going on? Nobody is talking about the largest polluters in the world, right? These are the number 2 biggest polluters in the world, right? Nobody is talking about them. These are the number 3 largest polluters in the world. And to this group, China belongs. And everybody is pointing the finger at China. How is that even possible? Even my country is in that group. As we can see, a huge part of Europe is in that group. Nobody's talking about them. Everybody is blaming China. And we have to understand that China is also producing most of the goods for all these other nations combined. They sometimes refer to China as the factory of the world. So even when they have so much activity going on, producing stuff, they are still at this low level of 9.8. while the United States, who is producing way less than China, is at 17.2. Canada, even less, 20.4. Nobody's talking about them. And this is why you need to talk about it by capita and not by country. It's very obvious that China would have more pollution if they have 1.4 billion people and the United States only 340 million. I mean, come on. Two people fart louder than just one. It's basic science. But I think also that the whole fight about this pollution thing should stop, especially among the people like you and me, right? So I want to talk very, very briefly on that, because I think this is what everybody understands now, right? So I want to talk about what we shouldn't be doing and what China is doing on the end, right? So first of all, I want everybody to stop fighting among each other about this whole thing, right? Because you and I and most of the people in the world, like 99%, maybe even more, are not scientists. We don't know. Because we are not scientists, we have our own biases, because we like to, we trust these or people more than this other group, and the other one trusts that group more than this group. And we are just clashing because we want to be right. Right? This is our human nature, human behavior, right? I was the same also. I stopped bickering about this subject because I asked me a simple question. Mr. Fong, do you really know anything about climate? That was very emotional. I had to say, I actually don't know. I hate to say that I don't know anything. So it's very painful for me to acknowledge that. I have read a lot of things, but as I say, you read from the people that you want to read of. And then you form some form of opinion and you want to stick with it because you want to be right. So later, I started to run things about all this emission thing through DeepSeek, and I wanted to actually know what it actually was, because everybody's talking about CO2, and a lot of things are very confusing, right? Because CO2 is also used to grow plants. So how can something so beautiful, which is growing plants faster and better, be also toxic at the same time? And then when I started to run it, because that's what you do when you are working with AI, you have to run it through several channels, etc., to get really to the bottom and get a deeper understanding. Otherwise, you only get the surface, and I want to have it really deep. So that sounds horrible. Did I just say that? I want to have it really deep? That's disgusting. I didn't mean it like that. But anyway. What I found out was kind of a similar analogy what I'm going to give you right now. So for instance, if we all have been sick at one point, that the doctor is giving us medication, right? And we get our prescription and it says you can only have this much and not more than that, right? The reason why you cannot have more than that, because it will be harmful to your body and maybe even will cost your life, right? So always stick to what the doctors say, don't do otherwise. Don't be stubborn. But this is the thing, that we have the same thing, right? If we take it in the correct dose that the doctor prescribes us to, then it's more often than not that we will feel better afterwards. The same goes with CO2. If it is in the correct doses, then it will not be toxic. If it is not, then it will be toxic. It's same with oxygen. We have a certain amount of oxygen in our air, which is just the right amount to keep us alive. If it will be less, we will not survive. If it will be more, we will not survive. So if we look at this in this way at CO2, then yeah, it kind of makes sense. What it basically that was what I ran through, right? So too much is not good. It should be the right amount. So China is is planting a lot of trees. Why trees? Because trees are soaking up the CO2. And that is why. So what China also does is being very extremely innovative when it comes to this. So they are using the bag with the gold. Hey, we need to have better batteries, more sustainable batteries. Whoever is the most innovative can give us that. Here's the bag, and dangling it above your head. This drives innovation because people are always driven by getting a good, nice reward, right? That's why they're so innovative. They're number one in new green sustainable energy right now in the world. They've come a long way. They are making roads of plastic right now. They know how to make it into tar, or is it tar also in something what you throw on the roads? They have one in Shanghai right now being test run, right? And all these things are very innovative, right? What we do in the West often, and I think that is the reason why in the West we are clashing so much among each other, is it will always come at the cost of the people or at the cost of small businesses. Oh, yeah, we have pollution, so we raise taxes. Like what? So if we pay more taxes, then we have less pollution. What? No. It doesn't work like that. Right? And then we are doing exactly the opposite. We're using that bag that we should be using to provoke people to be more innovative, to help us to get over this problem. We use it to give it to the military complex for their endless wars, where they're dropping boom booms, which are polluting more than factories. And because of this contradiction, the people in the West do not trust the government anymore when it comes to our climate. And because of the media is setting us up to failure, because showing different kind of opinions which do not have a scientific background creates us to be divided and fight over the issue. But let's be honest here, we cannot deny that we are polluting. This is just normal human nature, right? If we park our car in a sealed off garage, we don't know how fast we should turn off the emission or get out of the garage because we cannot bear it, right? That's pollution. We cannot deny it. How far it is, I don't know. I'm not going to talk on that because I am not a scientist. I only can talk about what we can verify, right? So I hope this video will help people to understand a little bit and maybe come a little bit closer to each other so we can solve this problem and be a little bit more mindful. So when we are leaving Earth, we're leaving it in a good state for our offsprings. How about that? You know, I understand why people are fighting about it because, especially in the West, when we hear about it, the first thing we think about is how much is it going to cost me now? But that's because our governments are doing it the wrong way, in my humble opinion. Let me know in the comment section if you think that I'm right when it comes to that. Should they be more innovative and should be more pushing or the people to be more innovative in finding a thing, maybe tangling it back, maybe have one war less and use that money to subsidize innovation to have a better Earth. Let me know in the comment section if you agree on that. But please keep it respectful. We're not uncivilized barbarians. Let us all come together and learn from each other because this is our planet, right? Well, not exactly ours. It also belongs to my cat and all other sentient beings. Let's be honest here. We just act like it's ours. But nonetheless, we all have to live here. So we all must find a way to get along and to tackle the problems that affects us all. And that can only be done through dialogue. And that was it for today. Please like, share, and if you have not yet, then follow. And as always, have a great day. Your favorite half Chinese.